Hi there, it's Brett Hornby here. Here we are up to personal blog number 50. Wow, I made 50 of these videos already. Well, I guess it's been a year, but I'm going to call this one personal blog collection so far, as I'm going to go open up my playlist here and let's do a little recap of what I was thinking from 1 to 49 years. Definitely made 50 of these videos here. It all started where I figured I wanted to do a segment where I take a break from my sports content and just do a little storytelling, give my thoughts, opinions about a particular topic, or actually what inspired this is that it was the August long weekend for my first personal blog. I talk about Mount Robson changed my life. I mean, it might seem a little extreme, but I was reflecting on my long weekend that I had, back in 2008 there, and it was at that time the 10th anniversary of that particular holiday, where I made my first ever trip to Mount Robson, where I made my first drive through Lake Louise and Jasper, and so I was looking for a place to stay, and it was way too expensive to find a place to stay, and then I wound up staying in Valemont, and it was my first ever time I did this drive through the Rockies, especially the main part of the Canadian Rockies, on my own there, after school and starting to get established in your career, and still have my own personal vehicle there, but I decided, well, I just want to share my story on that, and it's changed my life. I mean, it really has, because every year since then I've always wanted to go back there, and I always get an awe doing some mountain watching. Feel extra special when I'm there and see the top of Mount Robson there. So there's definitely a lot of content on that, and I definitely saw the top of it recently on my last holiday here. So that was first blog on one, and that's what kicked it off here. So the second one, I was talking about how summer 2018 was gone, and it was just after the hottest day ever in Calgary, and that one I remember I was just reflecting on, I haven't done much up to that point last summer, and we just had the hottest day ever recorded, and I figured it could have been hotter if it wasn't as smoky at that time, and I was also reflecting on experiencing temperatures that high when we went to Mexico there, where it got cooler in the evening, but then I realized it was still like 25 degrees outside, and still sometimes consider a day when it's 25 degrees a fairly warm day there. So that was personal blog number 2. Number 3, I call this one my YouTube journey this far, plus vacation now. So this is when I started condensing down my videos here, but basically I was just kind of looking at when my account was created and what I did initially, and then my journey so far up to this point when I started being more active on YouTube. So that was basically my third personal blog here. And then number 4 here, I talked about Labor Day classics, and that's the big rivalry tradition in the CFL. I definitely gave my fond memories of the Calgary-Edmonton Labor Day rivalry, and I definitely still fondly remember my first one back in 1995. That was my first one I ducked in live, and extraordinary things happened that day when Doug Flutie was still hurt with tendonitis surgery, the former Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. And then a guy named Jeff Garcia definitely started making a name for himself. He looked like he was doing alright, but that day he threw for 6 touchdowns and over 500 yards passing, actually set a franchise record that day. So that was my first Labor Day being alive there, and just talked about the whole Labor Day Classic, and then shared my experience on experiencing the Winnipeg, Saskatchewan Labor Day Sunday when I was there last year in the old Mosaic Stadium. So that was personal blog number 4. Number 5, this one was very funny. I call this one Growling Alien Thing, and I kind of just briefly described what the hell I call Growling Alien Thing. And it's basically, it's a small dog thing, you know. When I hear it growl, it has that distinctive sound that I just think of a growling alien. Growling alien thing. That's what I call that. It's a small dog thing, where you just find on this platform small dog growling, and you'll hear what I mean. What I call growling alien thing. Personal log number 6. I just said 6 is actually my lucky number. Most people say 7 is your lucky number, but I think it's 6 because I actually have more personal connections to that particular number. So number 7, I talked about when sports teams should raise a banner. Basically, this was my response to the Nashville Predators at that time when they raised the banner where they won the President's Trophy. Sure, you got the best record in the league, in the NHL. Excuse me. You get something for winning the best record in the league. They won the division title. Sure, you can raise a banner for that. But then they raised the banner for Western Conference champions regular season. That's where they, do you really want to raise a banner for that? Sure, raise a banner if you're Western Conference champions because you went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. And then also debate about, you know, who should be up there for players retired. I mean, that's up to the franchise, but I debated about that in number 7. Number 8, I just talked about the cannabis legalization in Canada. I just gave a brief take on that, and you know, it's nice it's somewhat decriminalized just to maybe bring us more revenue, but it's not going to really solve anything. But I just talked about that, and that's probably, in my opinion, the only thing that the Liberal government has really accomplished, in my opinion, the whole time they've been in power there is, they decriminalized cannabis, marijuana, pot. So I just talked about that in number 8. Number 9, I just talked about Halloween as an adult, 2018. Just how much that occasion changes now that you're an adult as opposed to a kid. Number 10, I just ranted about daylight savings back to standard time 2018. Just my rant on why the heck do we still change the time. Here we are, 2018-2019 year. First of all, number 11, I cleverly played this number. I just talked about Remembrance Day 2018 and the whole significance of that particular day on November 11th here in Canada. So I definitely talked about that on a serious note. So number 12, I played a number on it again. I called it double my lucky number. 6 times 2 is 12. Number 13, I talked about, is number 13 really scary, and all connections with number 13. So I talked about number 13, that one. Number 14, I had some fun with this one. It was my first rant about pigeons. Those damn birds. They're not just birds to me. But I definitely debuted that in number 14. So after a while here, let's go climb up here. Number 15. Now I talked about Christmas as an adult in 2018, just like Halloween. How that occasion changes as an adult compared to a kid. Number 16, I talked about how December exhaustion is real. Usually when you get to December, all the extra work you gotta do, especially Christmas, you're done by the time you get to December. Number 17, nice debate here. I call this one Perils of Adult Friendships. You know how you're always saying, if you use social media, you can, stay in touch with people, but then it's always like, life as an adult, you're always trying to promise we should get together, and then you never do because schedules never line up. So that's what I call Perils of Adult Friendships. Number 18, I call this one What I Really Hear After New Year's. Basically, let's put everything away, get back to normal, and everything you pay for costs more now. The whole, you get built up such a high up to Christmas, and then suddenly it's over. And that's why generally you get that down lull in the winter. Number 19, I actually talked about Dog Days of Winter. I spun around the theory I mean, the dog days of winter, basically that period after Christmas and wait until spring. I spun it around because of the saying of the dog days of summer. So I spun it around for dog days of winter there. So you maybe want to check that out. Number 20, I talk about why the Border Collie is my favorite dog breed and share some memories of Border Collies I grew up with. That's spoiler alert, why Border Collie is my favorite dog breed. I mean, I grew up with a dog, so there's some bias there with that breed. So it's an amazing breed overall. But I just unfortunately don't have the living situation, style, and lifestyle to have one myself. That's why I don't have one myself. But it's always easier to marvel at other people's dogs because you don't have to take care of them. So number 21, I kind of give a mild rant about how everyone has a points program now, and I almost think if everyone's got a points program now, it just oversaturates the market. So that's 21. 22, I kind of have fun with this one. I call this one Spouse Never Happy Where a Man Sleeps. I just think, maybe it's starting to become a middle-aged thing, but there's times I unintentionally sleep on the couch because I'm tired. Long day, and you just doze off. Next thing you know, you slept all night. So I was thinking if I was married, the woman won't like that. She'll want me to sleep in bed. Yet if I sleep in bed, she'll want me to sleep on the couch because then she'll be complaining I'm snoring and farting too much. So either way, your spouse is never happy with you for sleeping on the couch when she wants you to sleep in bed, or she wants you to sleep on the couch when you're sleeping in bed. So I made light out of that. 23, I debated about should Super Bowl Monday be a holiday? Yes, it should be. Especially if you want the game to be played late on Sunday night. And consume lots of goodies. If you know what I mean. 24, I talk about taking transit. You're either going to be stupid early or late. That's why I always have to tell people, well, I take transit. I'm either going to be stupid early or late. Pick one. Because the schedule never seems to line up. When if you need to be somewhere at a certain time, and then I give all the parameters that will always work against you, that sure you could be on time, but it's like just to be safe, take the one bus earlier. So that's 24, 25, halfway there. I talk about my view of the economy since 2008. I feel things really haven't recovered from the global financial crisis. And I mean here, we maybe a couple years of rebounded, but then we've had the Great Recession and too many left-wing politicians in power and made things worse. So I feel like things haven't really recovered since 2008, if you ask me. So I talk about that. 26, says it sells. Valentine's Day is stupid. It's my bare opinion on that. I think it's stupid. So if you want to have me in your life, just disagree not to do anything on Valentine's Day. So I talk about that in that personal vlog. Number 27, it's never up to me if I have a nice day. I mean, I know it's kind of courteous, especially in the morning. You grab your stuff, go off to work, deal with people. It's a courteous thing to tell the person have a nice day if you're a store clerk and you try to give it back. But in reality, once I have to leave the house and got to deal with other people, it's not up to me if I have a nice day, so I talk about that. 28, I talk about bowling is still in my blood. Love to bowl, forced to work. I just pretty much to summarize that one. Number 29, I call this one, red is obviously my favorite color. All my teams I wear like to cheer for, like to wear red. Obviously it's my favorite color. Number 30, once I get to number 30 here, it's ranting about going back to daylight savings time. And why the hell did we still change our clocks in 2019? So that's my rant about that. Number 31, I made light about Australian Labor Day. How in Australia 6 months seasons ahead of us, or behind us, depending on which way you look at it. How the first Monday in March is Labor Day. So I wonder if they have a parallel universe. I wonder if they have Labor Day Classics, and I wonder if Australians, if their news feeds get flooded with first day of school posts, just like what happened to me on Labor Day after the first Monday in September. So I just talked about that. And 31. So I'm going to work my way up here. Number 32. This is what I call, you always bump into at the store, what I call lottery hoggers. You know, people that have to buy 50 lottery tickets, after getting 50 lottery tickets checked, holding up the line for other people just to buy 2 items and get the heck out. I call them lottery hoggers. I talk about that in 32. Number 33. I might have should have worded this maybe a little differently, but I call this Amber Alert a rant and PSA. But I'm not ranting about Amber Alert. I'm ranting about everyone that bitches and complains about getting an Amber Alert in the middle of the night. And that to the point where they have to call 911 to bitch and complain about it. So I give my rant about that. I give my PSA on if you follow these tips, your Amber Alert will never wake you up from your precious sleep. Especially if you work banker's hours, and I have no sympathy for you when it's like, I've already worked a couple hours before you get out of bed. So I kind of rant about that there. 34, I call this one, dogs look funny with their ears inside out. They do. They look hilarious when you open up their ears or fold over their heads. I call it their ears are open, and I kind of share my stories on, I did it to Titan, our family dog. He didn't like it after a while, but man, dogs, they look so funny with their ears open. The ears open. Watch out for that. If you post a picture of a dog with their ear open, I'll comment that on your Facebook page. And most people, they actually come back and reply and laugh. Because dogs look funny with their ears inside out. There's no scientific proof or evidence on why. They just look funny. So number 35, I talk about my feelings on self-serve checkouts in general, and when I use them and when I say you don't use them, but it's going to exist. But I don't think it would take as many jobs as some would think. So that's 35. 36, I talk about why I need to take parade day off. I'm talking about the Calgary Stampede Parade. If you value my sanity, let me have the day off and I avoid the parade. So number 37, I talk about my Calgary Stampede memories. My whole memories of the whole greatest outdoor show on earth in Calgary here, and I share a story about winning the Red Dog, Big Red, and what I had to put up with then, but I still cherish that 20 years later, my Big Red Dog. So number 38, I talk about, I kind of make fun about, generally you get more grouchy as you get older, and give my theories and stories on why that's the case. So that's up to 38. 39, I talk about cartoons get funnier as we age. Kids like cartoons, it's all bright and colorful and that. But as an adult, when you're more aware of things, you're thinking, man, this is funny. Or Simpsons jokes where the parents laughing, wondering, what the hell are you laughing at? And then now as an adult, like, oh man, that is damn funny. So that's 39. 40, I talk about the love of political cartoons, and I think it's funny. Cartoons and politics, it's funny. Yeah, especially when it's so true. So that's number 40. 41, I made up this term, I call it the weekend triangle. It's kind of like the project management triangle where your project can only be on time, on budget, on quality, but you can only pick 2 at the sacrifice of 1. I talk about weekend triangle, you can only either have time to get things done, have a life, or pass out on the couch, and you can only do 1 that sacrifice the other 2 there. So you never get that equilibrium. 42, birds, part 2, another pigeons rent. Spoiler alert, I'm also making a trilogy, it'll be a part 3. And hopefully I'll be done talking about pigeons and those stupid birds. So that's 42. 43, I talk about, this kind of was an expansion of Personal Blog 1. But I talk about Heritage Day memories and all about the first holiday, or after the first Monday in August and Heritage Day. But basically I kind of expanded on my memories from Personal Blog 1 and how Mount Robson changed my life. Number 44, I talk about how I've become a sucker for old heritage hotels, and I share my stories about hotels that I stayed in. That I've become a love for those kind of hotels. Number 45, I talk about, it's funny when an animal hates you, When a dog, for example, just doesn't like you for any reason. You never met this dog, you never interacted with this dog, it just doesn't like you. I find that funny. Spoiler alert, I will make a personal blog where I talk about it's funny when it likes you too. The other end of the spectrum. It's number 46. I talk about how social media is good for past connections here. This will be another personal vlog that I'm going to look at it from the other side of the coin in the future here, but I just say at least personal connections have been good in some way on social media to stay in touch with people that you otherwise might not be in touch either way, and you know how you try to make dates, but parallel adult friendships get in the way too. But one personal vlog at a time here. It's number 47. I talk about my favorite host, Andrew Younghusband. What Andrew Younghusband should do now that when he announced on his Facebook page, back to social media, that the Canada's Worst Driver isn't coming back. So I just kind of gave my suggestions, and I talk about all the shows he's come in, and thinking, you know, he'd be great in those professions. But I just talk about how much I'm a fan of Andrew, and I give my personal opinions on what I think he should do now. So number 48, well, I talk about Wicked camper vans are awesome. They are awesome. And that's the one thing I like to collect when I go on holidays, is take pictures of Wicked camper vans and all the clever sayings they put on the back and the trippy painting. That's why I love them. They're awesome. I did see a few on my holiday there, but unfortunately it was the Scooby-Doo van and no clever saying in the back. I did see a few with a few clever sayings, but they were driving away and I was driving, and I couldn't get a good picture of it when two forces are driving and non-driving, and they frown on distracted driving. So I couldn't, and I can't pull those out of my memory and paste it on a digital form for you guys. So 49, before this personal vlog, well, I talk about why I'm a sports fan and all the personal pride and everything, you know, what made me a sports fan and like to represent Calgary here. So yeah, this is personal vlog number 50. Looking at all my personal vlog reflections so far, and I mean, I personally like doing this format, talking about stories, think of a personal, particular topic to talk about and share with you guys. I mean, I'm not comfortable, or I don't think I have an interesting enough of a life to do a daily vlog, and I can't sustain doing a daily vlog or pull a camera out and say, yeah, I'm Brett, here I am, here. I might do a live video where I capture and I do my narration. There's a few of those on my channel, but you know, this format, I'm just at home or on the road or whatever I'm doing. I pull out the camera and I'll talk stories. And for the record here, I think I have topics at least up to 80 picked out. So stay tuned for that. But I just figured for this milestone, we will look back on 1 through 49 and briefly talk about each personal vlog and what inspired those, you know, topics in mind. And you know, it's all in the same playlist, so you can go watch them all if you want, or pick ones each out that I briefly described here. But here we are up to number 50. So here's to 50 more personal vlogs here to get up to 100 here, and I'm still driving to get to 100 subscribers here. So if you enjoy everything I do on my YouTube channel, just make sure you hit like, subscribe for more personal vlogs. I mostly do Calgary sports with, you know, Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, and I also like to share, you know, stuff on the road, scenery videos there, and basically anything else between. I throw in the odd attempt at comedy video there, but I mean, this video, this format, there's very little scripting or notes I got to do ahead of time. I just pick a topic and I talk away here. So if this sounds like everything you're interested in, so make sure you hit like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. I try to post at least a few videos weekly. I mean, just the nature of the content, it comes in batches here, but there's always going to be something new to watch if you come to my channel weekly here. So just make sure you follow along, and in the description below I also have my other links so you can follow me along. So as I always say, I'll see you in the next video here.